What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, and I'm off center.
You are. There you go.
Okay.
Fixed.
AKA the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, which happened. It happened. It was on May 6th.
It was.
Like we told you it would be.
Like we told you it would be. And guess what? It'll be on the first Saturday of May next year, too.
It's true.
There you go. Whatever date that is, because I don't know, of course.
Yeah. The 5th?
Would it be the 5th?
Or would it be the 7th?
It would be the 7th, I think. Actually, let's not lie.
Not sure,
Let's not kick off next year by lying about it.
Hard to say, right?
How was Free Comic Book Day? Tell us all about it.
It was great. It was fantastic. Johnny and I went out, did those live streams from Cards, Comics, and Collectibles in the morning, and then we went over to Collector's Corner in the afternoon. And cool. Johnny, I just want to say, this was the most fun. Like, I had so much fun with you. I would not have changed a single thing about it. Like, I had a blast.
Nice, nice.
We gave out t-shirts and hats at Cards, Comics, and Collectibles. We looked at all their books. They were set up outside, which was really cool. They were also giving out hot dogs, which Johnny and I wolfed down in like 2 bites each.
Both of you, okay.
Yeah. We walked around the store. We talked to some of the folks in there that were getting free comics, hanging out, shopping. We talked to Dorsey, who was super into it and really willing to talk about it. Apparently he does a thing on his Instagram feed where he spotlights lesser known characters and tells you their backstory and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was very excited.
That's very cool. No, I only caught like a quarter of this, but this already looks like a lot of fun. And you guys were doing.
There's Ashton handing out shirts.
Ashton handing out shirts.
Yeah, specifically to children. But it was also weird because it's like.
They weren't kid sizes, were they?
There were, but
okay.
You have to approach the parent because you don't want to be like a weirdo. Like
I could tell you stories about that on Free Comic Book Day. Actually, that's hilarious. Actually,
we talked to Joe Pruitt from Aftershock Comics.
These are Cards, Comics, and Collectibles.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He talked about Seismic Stories, which was Aftershock's book, and he talked about Black Eyed Kids, which is his book that he writes for Aftershock.
Right. Yeah, no, I had a few years ago when I was doing the Free Comic Book Day beat, and I was making a point to hop around different stores in the area. I realized real quick that you can't just be like, "Hey, can I take a picture of your kid and put it on our Facebook page?" That's not the right approach
no,
at
it's
all.
weird.
Oh, I can't do that?
No.
All the footage I shot there is unusable now.
Oh, well, there's that too. I mean,
pretty much every single kid, though, we gave a shirt to, so they already knew like what we were there, what we were up to and all that.
I mean, we'll find out if we were right on that one or not. I don't know what to tell you guys. I just know that, I had to recognize pretty quickly. I was like, oh, this might be inappropriate. Maybe I should try a different approach here.
Might be.
I'm just saying.
Hard to say.
We do have some comments already. Fat Tony's checking in. Happy New Comic Book Day, everyone. Hope you all enjoy your free comic book day.
What's going on, buddy?
Hell yeah.
He's saying, please tell me Johnny dressed up as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Well, if you didn't watch the live stream, I guess we'll never know.
Hard to say.
Hard to say.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
Annie Fox saying Free Comic Book Day was amazing. Let us know, everyone, where you actually celebrated Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, let us know.
Give us a shout out to your friendly local comic shop of where you went. And, we're going to like this, Ashton. Richard Smith is saying that Free Comic Book Day next year, May the 4th.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
How did that happen?
How did it jump back to May the 4th? Because it was May 4th.
How did we skip a day?
2 years ago?
Leap year?
Was it leap year?
Oh, is it a leap year?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yo, if it's on May the 4th,
yeah, it's on.
Game over.
It's on.
That's going to be wild.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you guys did that. That was actually really cool and just different, and we're going to make it bigger and bolder next year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I shout out to both of you guys for making that happen and going out there.
May the 4th next year.
Okay.
Nice.
Confirmed.
That's going to be amazing. Done.
So have you seen the trailer for this movie called Renfield? It's like the Nicolas Cage vampire movie.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
Okay. I saw it a couple months ago, and it was so ridiculous that I was way into it.
I need to see this.
I was like, I need to see this. I thought the premise was great. I was itching to see it. Finally did. I will admit the movie was okay.
Sure.
Right, I will admit that.
Was Nick Cage wacky?
Nick Cage, of course, was very wacky.
Okay, perfect.
Right, so I mean, that part absolutely delivered. Actually, what it kind of reminded. Do you remember? Actually, he was in another movie. I think he was the same actor.
Is that Nicholas Hoult?
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in a movie called Warm Bodies?
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that a little bit, actually.
Oh my God, that was him in
That
Warm
was
Bodies.
him in Warm Bodies.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I just thought about that. But yeah, but here's the big plot twist. Something that I did not pick up on any trailers, and I tend to go blind into a lot of movies. I try to
fine.
anyway. Written by Robert Kirkman, produced by Skybound. Which, yeah.
A lot of follow-up questions there.
You're right. I mean, it's
How, why, when?
When?
When did you get the time to do this?
well, there's also that, right? Yeah, because he's writing everything, producing everything right now.
He's like president of images, whatever,
true.
creative
Yeah.
director guy or something like that.
And sorry, creative director guy.
Yeah.
As far as I know, this is Skybound's first foray into feature films. As far as I know.
Did they not promote this? Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, that's kind of the thing I was surprised by. Like, I just, of course, we work in comics, so I just kind of,
yeah.
it just glossed over me that like this was produced by them. I had no idea, and I don't know if that was not part of the promotion or what. But like, yeah, Robert Kirkman wrote this. Walking Dead's Robert Kirkman. Invincible, Walking Dead's Robert Kirkman wrote this. Of course, yeah, he's responsible for Walking Dead and Invincible. And those have been big hits on television.
Right.
But this is like, I guess this is their first, as far as I know, their first feature film.
Vampire?
Yeah, vampire movie too, which also,
Okay.
I mean, not a stretch, I don't think, for him necessarily,
No.
right? Like, I mean, he's done werewolf, he did a werewolf comic, of course, there's a zombie book. Vampires are definitely next in line.
Exactly. That checks out.
So, but yeah, just, hey, if you get a chance, if you're curious about it, now you know. Robert Kirkman made that
I feel
one.
like that's jarring information.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, interesting. Like, I was way more excited about it than Liz was.
Lame.
Like, I was sitting there, I was like, wait, what? Because I'm one of those people that stays till the end of any movie credits. So it doesn't matter if it's a Marvel movie or not.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
and like, yeah, I saw his name and I was like, wait, what? And Liz was like, what's the big deal? I'm like,
Do you not know who that is?
well, it was also just like, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So he wrote it.
Yeah, he
Did
wrote
he
it.
produce any other credits or just writing?
Well, Skybound is listed as one of the production companies behind it.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that he wrote and produced it.
Okay.
And like, they bankrolled some of this movie as well. Yeah,
Sure.
just like totally blew my mind.
Now I feel like I definitely need to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some Kirkmanisms in there that like I didn't catch, but like, yeah, definitely give it a watch. It's a dark comedy. It's not as I want to say self-serious as The Walking Dead. It's definitely like
I just felt like I was too far away
okay.
from the table.
I was like, should we be concerned?
I just was like, that's a
Is
lot,
there blood on the floor? Like, what's going on?
more space than I'm used to.
We do have a couple comments that we want to.
Oh yeah, let's jump into comments.
Fantastic Four is saying that he's got to see Renfield now. Sounds even better than I would have expected.
Go for it. Give it a shot. Let us know what you thought of it.
Other people were chiming in with where they celebrated Free Comic Book Day. Fat
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
said Brave New Worlds, Old City in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Fantastic Four saying that I did rock a sick Free Comic Book Day hat though, which
Okay.
I
Yeah.
am wearing again. So.
Nice.
Johnny was, between Johnny wearing the hat and me wearing the La Braga t-shirt, we were just like displaying all the things we were giving out.
Okay. I mean, there you go. You're walking billboards.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Like, yeah.
Annie Fox saying that she celebrated at Elusive Comics in San Jose, California.
Okay.
Sweet.
By the way, she's saying her date did show up because I remember she said that she wasn't sure if that
Oh,
date was going to show up. She was going to have to go alone. But
All right.
Okay.
Shoestring catch. Love that.
Shoestring catch.
and Fat Tony saying, guess Kirkman needs to find a way to spend all that Walking Dead money, so he's making movies now.
I mean,
Why not?
I also can't hate on him for that. Like, I mean, like there are so many comic creators who want to break into film. He's had an avenue to that for a good while.
Yeah.
And he's doing that big. I mean, and I would say I wouldn't say the easiest way to do that, but probably the smart way to do that is to produce your own stuff.
Sure.
So there you go. That way you don't end up, with these god awful adaptations of your work. But this is also an original thing. Like, this was never a comic. That was the other thing that kind of was like, oh, interesting,
I mean, it was fairly popular, even if it wasn't, that great in terms of acting or plot or whatever, because you're hardly the first person I've heard talk about it and enjoy it.
It's an amusing movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those things like, oh, that's it. This is a bizarre, weird concoction of things, It's not perfect, but it is amusing when you're watching. You're just like, what is this? So, I mean, yeah, check it out. Let us know what you guys think about it. Let us know if you catch it this week. Let us know next week if you're a fan of it or not. Let's get into some new releases this week, right? Because look, we had Free Comic Book Day, right? And so now the thing here is, it's not just go there to Free Comic Book Day, get a free comic, don't come back. You got to come back. You got to go back the next Wednesday at the very least and see
have
what
to.
else is there. Also, there might be some follow-ups. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but there might
It
be
is.
some follow-ups this week.
It's
from the
true.
stuff you picked up on Free Comic Book Day. Okay, I know there usually is.
Not necessarily this week per se. Not that I saw anyway.
I didn't see any this
but
week. Right.
most of the books are usually springboards into
Right.
summer events, whatever. All of Marvel's books are primers, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let's dive in. New release Wednesday, new comics. Let's talk. You want to go first?
I do.
All right.
As I have 2 picks this week.
Oh.
I know. One of them is, the first one is, I just need to talk about this because it's such a brilliant idea. Scar from Dynamite.
Oh.
Man, Scar's origin story of like how he comes to decide he's gonna just murder Mufasa in a ditch to become the king, the Lion King. It doesn't pan out. Spoiler alert.
Right. Doesn't work in the long run.
Of all the Disney villains that make sense to have an origin story, I think he is number 1.
Yeah, there is a clear backstory there
Yes.
that could be elaborated on for sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
So I'm all about this, and the art's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And I also, I don't know, feel weirdly like trauma bonded with the Lion King. Like,
I mean, you and a whole generation of kids. I mean, what else is on the trauma bond list? Like what?
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about that later. We'll circle back to that.
Okay, yeah.
What else you got going on with Scar?
okay, so aside from Scar, I'm picking Gatsby from AWA Studios. It's written by Jeremy Holt, art by Felipe Cunha, forward from Billy Porter, which is neat.
Interesting. Okay.
So we've talked a number of times on here about graphic novel adaptations of classic literature, and I've picked, Frankenstein versions of this, and I've picked Great Gatsby versions of this.
Yeah.
This is not that.
No.
It's using the Great Gatsby framework and reimagining it for the modern age.
Okay.
With a multicultural LGBTQ plus main character.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it focuses on a middle-class Singaporean student who spends the summer with his mega-rich cousin in Long Island before he heads off to Columbia University. And the mega-rich cousin is just like into it all. He is kind of Gatsby. So, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and then also murder, because that's an important part of Gatsby, the Gatsby story.
I just want to say rock and roll was not around when Gatsby started.
Well, it's around now.
The sex and drugs, sure.
Sex, drugs, and jazz music. Sex, drugs, and flappers.
And flappers. There you go. That's perfect. I'm sorry. I just want to throw that out there.
But I think it's brilliant because a lot of what makes certain books in classic literature appealing is that the things they comment on are timeless, and that's the
absolutely.
biggest thing with Gatsby is like using your resources to like fulfill other people's expectations. And I think that could be really interesting with also like the undercurrent of the internet. You said it in the modern age, you have things like social media and those expectations. And I just think this could be a really interesting use of that framework. So
Absolutely.
I'm hype about it.
So, I had this moment of realization when we were talking because I did an interview with these two.
Oh, you
for
did?
this book, Gatsby, you're right. And like typically, I get the artwork looked differently. I guess the cover threw me off because I didn't realize it was the same book. But yeah, typically on Wednesdays, I repost on our social media those interviews when the book comes out. So that's good to know because I can backtrack now and be like, I definitely had an interview with Jeremy Holt about this book, like about a few months back when it was coming out in single issues from AWA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've been playing catch up on the book called Monarch. I chose the first issue when I was like about 2 months ago, I want to say.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi book from Image Comics. It's a unique take on the alien invasion story.
Love that.
And number 4 is out this week. So here's the thing, like I feel like there's a few avenues you can go with an alien invasion story, right? You can go H.G. Wells. You can go Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can go ID4, Roland Emmerich, like Welcome to Earth. Go that route, right?
Which is this?
This is kind of War of the Worlds-y.
Okay.
Kind of, but the twist here is like, okay, well, there's a couple of twists. So it starts in Compton, right? So you get you actually get a black perspective on the invasion in some regards, but the story doesn't stay domestic.
Okay.
Like it kind of gets very otherworldly pretty quickly. And so there are definitely elements of War of the Worlds, but the big twist here, the thing that's different here is that the aliens came here years ago and dropped in sleeper agents. And so
So smart.
one of the characters is actually kind of a sleeper agent, but they've done such an effective job of acclimating themselves to humanity. And now it's creating like this sort of like a dilemma, this moral dilemma within that character.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So I thought this was pretty cool. Like I walked into it and I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. And then I think halfway through issue 2, it just got wild.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
And there's another element here because a lot of the main characters all kind of came up from this orphanage. And so you have like these characters of all these different backgrounds kind of intersecting during this invasion. And so they're kind of all used to not having parental guidance.
Excellent.
So they're kind of already in survival mode no matter what, which I thought was really well done.
Yeah.
And so, but then there's another part of it where you have basically these two characters who are kind of already in love, right? They love each other. They're kids, but they're in love with each other, right? And then you have this other kid who's just always felt abandoned, and he's kind of dangerous, you know? And so there's a lot
that
of...
is dangerous because you get the nothing left to lose mentality.
Nothing left to lose mentality. And so there's a lot of interesting elements kind of happening all at once. This is Rodney Barnes. This is the guy who does Philadelphia, Nita Hawes. He did Blackula. I've talked about him quite a few times on the show. He does The Mandalorian for in Marvel Comics right now. Yeah, I dig this so far. It's a different approach to the alien invasion thing on several levels, especially for someone who has seen quite a few alien invasion movies. I really appreciate the fact that like this threw me for a loop by issue 2, and so I'm like kind of really locked in. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up issue number 4 in Monarch. That's in comic shops this week. Let's get into some gems of the month, or do we have some comments, Johnny?
Let me look and see what we got.
Okay.
Just a few. We have Kahan's Realm saying, in the store, it's the first time I've gotten to see some of it live. I don't know if you're talking about us or the free comic book day stream, but either way, welcome.
Okay, great. Hi.
Annie Fox saying, going to see Guardians 3 in a few hours. Hope it's good.
Ooh, I'm jealous. Did not see Guardians 3 yet, and I know I am rolling the dice with spoilers right now.
Yes.
Especially since I spend so much of my day doing social media for this company. Yeah, I need to make that happen very soon.
Dangerous.
I've heard nothing but good things, and I didn't expect it to be bad. Like I enjoyed the last 2, so.
James Gunn's at the reins with this one, isn't he?
He is at the reins again. Like after. Kind of. I have a theory about this. I'm gonna go off the rails for a second, Johnny. Sorry.
Ooh, damn.
So he got in trouble a few years ago, right? And then Disney fired him, right? But then I want to say maybe like a year or 2 went by, and then they brought him back on to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right?
Did he do 2?
He did 2. He did 1, 2, and he's doing 3.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I suspect that they didn't actually fire him.
Oh, probably they did it to save face.
They did it to save face. And I'm like, within a year or 2, that's just enough time for it to line up with the rest of the MCU's timeline of events and write a whole screenplay, and then get everything in order to the pre-production phase so you can make a second movie. So,
man, and everyone was so upset about him getting fired. There was like this huge public backlash and like, what's going to happen to the Guardians movie? And Disney's like, we don't care. We care about doing the right thing. But then they also had the public backlash as a reason to bring him back.
Exactly.
They played all of us.
They had their cake and ate it too. That is a level of 3-dimensional chess. That's my own personal theory, by the way. I have no inside track, of course, but that's my personal theory. Is like they played us all, and I don't know. I think I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Another thing I kind of feels like now that James Gunn is about to jump ship to DC, I really need him and Kevin Feige to stop being so chummy.
Yeah, I can see how that would create an issue.
I need them to like start taking jabs at each other, even just for the theater of it.
Internet drama.
Just give us the internet drama. Just be like, our product is better than yours. I want that trash talk. We used to get that a little bit with the Avengers and the Justice League actors at one point in time. So come on, let's get it going.
There's no better way to sell something than drama.
Yeah, come on. I mean, that's literally why the Marvel DC rivalry came into play in the first place.
We don't have enough of that going on with the comic companies themselves already.
Right.
Johnny, come on.
But this is the fun drama. I always had I've had people who are like, oh, I hate this Marvel vs. DC thing. I'm like, this is okay.
It's meaningless.
this is like sports teams. This is the fun drama.
Right.
It's the other stuff that's not so fun, but this is the fun drama. So I'm okay with it. Anyway, let's jump into Gems of the Month. So, of course, the May catalog is out in comic shops this month. And so there's a couple of items that we have highlighted specifically that you need to check out. So here we go, Gems of the Month.
Hey everyone, Mia here with a look at the Gems of the Month inside May's Previews catalog. Here's what's available to pre-order at comic shops now. sure to pick up a copy of this month's previews catalog to see all the amazing pop culture goodies that you can pre-order at your friendly local comic shop.
Hakes is back with another amazing auction that is chock full of pop culture awesomeness. Here are just some of the incredible items that you can find over at Hakes.com. With over 2,500 auction lots of comics, cards, political memorabilia, action figures, and more, and all items starting at just $9.99, this is one auction not to be missed. Closing dates for items are May 15th through 17th. Don't miss this 3-day event over at Hakes.com. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
Those are the gems of the month for May, and followed by that was the Hakes auction, which ends May 15th and the 17th. We had a little chatter that was probably rude about William Shatner off camera, but I do think it's cool that they offer certified autographed pictures and stuff like that. I also saw that there was a sketch drawing by Kurt Swan, who's actually a DC legend. That's also available as well. So, it's a lot of things that you might be able to find at other auction houses. There's a lot of stuff that you will not find at other auction houses because they are wholly original. So make sure you get your bids in. May 15th through the 17th is when it closes, and that's because there's so many items and so much stuff to go through that it takes 2 days to knock them all out. So definitely check it out.
Lunchboxes.
Yeah, lunchboxes. Look at that. Some classic lunchboxes too.
Yo, that's dope. I
That
want
is
that.
cool. It also looks kind of like a weapon.
Yo, you can whop somebody with one of those metal lunchboxes, and that's game over.
Accidentally sever a hand. With that thing. That's amazing. No wonder they started making them plastic after all, because that looks like straight up metal. That's amazing.
Really put your back into that swing. It could hurt somebody.
Like hit him like it's a WWF chair. All right, let's get what? Go ahead and say it.
What's the match where you have to Money in the Bank?
Oh, Money in the Bank. Right,
Over
you
the
have to reach for
lunchbox.
it. Money in the lunchbox. I like that. And it's like, that's way less money, actually, now I think about it.
Might hurt just as much.
Might hurt just as much, right, exactly. Let's get into, this is a total tangent. Let's get on to news, all right? Ashton's here, in case you didn't notice. She's standing right there, and she's going to give us a rundown of some of the things that happen in the world of nerddom. Let's go.
That was alarming.
Was that
I
intentional?
was going to get Troy spitting out his water.
Was that okay? I was about to say, was that intentional? I'm still gonna drink my water. I don't care.
Okay. All right, let's
Stay
talk.
hydrated, kids.
It's important. Drink a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water. Okay, sorry. What's going on in the news?
You know who I think is really hydrated? Jim Lee. He seems like a hydrated guy.
He looks hydrated. I agree
yeah.
with that. Yes, he looks very well
Got
hydrated.
nice skin.
There you go.
That's the hallmark of someone who drinks enough water. All right. He's been promoted at DC to president in addition to a bunch of other stuff. So when he re-upped his deal with DC, they promoted him to president as well as his existing job functions as publisher and chief creative officer. Okay. So he's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy.
So per the company, Lee will continue in his primary role as publisher at DC, where he leads the creative teams. He will also continue to lead the creative efforts to integrate DC's publishing portfolio of characters and stories across all media, supporting the brands and studios of Warner Brothers Discovery. Nice. And another interesting point that particularly this Hollywood Reporter article brought up is his promotion is seen as something of a through line for the Warner Brothers Discovery area in terms of merging that with the movies. He's an important figure in making sure the material is adapted correctly by our buddy James Gunn, the faker.
The faker. Is that where we're going with it now?
Yes.
I mean, I think we're going to see a level of synergy between DC and the movie side that is actually going to be kind of unprecedented.
I hope so.
Like DC Comics and DC Studios, I think it's going to be unprecedented, and I really hope that it pays off because I think we need more of that. I swore that Jim Lee was already president. I really did. But then now that I think about it, there was a guy named Cherry before him, I think. And then, of course, Dan DiDio was also president at one point in time. And
Sort of recently.
Yeah, very, very recently, actually. All of this was very recently.
I don't remember that other guy you mentioned, though.
Right, Cherry left I think he left to work with Kanye West, actually. I wonder how that's going.
That's unfortunate.
I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's how that story goes.
Oof.
Yeah, it's cool. And here's the thing: like I grew up reading Jim Lee comics, right? And you kind of get to see this guy's rise. I mean, it's kind of he has a very unprecedented career. Like he has gone from being a work for hire artist to a regular artist to being being the artist on one of the biggest, most top-selling comics of all time, which is X-Men #1, right?
Which we've talked about like
a lot this year, right? Yeah, a lot these last couple months. And then like transitioning to, okay, I'm going to break off from Marvel, which was already unprecedented, form Image, leave Image, join DC with his own group of characters.
That's a lot of drama.
Right, there's a lot of drama there. Join DC with his own group of characters, and then basically have them integrate into the DC universe. How you feel about that, your mileage may vary.
Sure.
But now we're seeing a transition into, from publisher to president to chief creative officer, all of the above. That's a hell of a career. That really is, and that's. I don't think we talk about Jim Lee enough, especially when we talk about representation.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I think
a great
that's
point.
I think that's something that people like kind of gloss over. Is like Jim Lee's been at the forefront of this industry for a long time.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point that out. I just thought that was really important to kind of like pinpoint. What else is going on?
Vault is got a fancy new deal for charity. So they're doing.
Okay, cool.
They're partnering with Humble Bundle to offer some of their best comics via a name your price model. So it bundles, you can get as few as 3 or as many as 19 comics in a bundle. And you can basically pick your own price for it. It ranges from $1 to $18, and all of the proceeds from your purchase go towards Room to Read, which is a nonprofit that works to encourage children's literacy and girls' education across Asia and Africa. And I'm totally about that. So
that's cool.
The goal is that, you could pay as low as $1 for 19 comics, but ideally you would pay more because you know that whatever you pay into this is going to charity.
Absolutely. That's actually really neat.
And Johnny, if you scroll down, I think the list of titles that you can get in this bundle, it's some of their heavy hitters. They have Vampire the Masquerade, The Last Book You'll Ever Read, I Walk with Monsters, Barbaric.
The idea of Money Shot being on that list is kind of
I wanted to call it out, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't. They just restarted Money Shot. They're in volume 2 now.
They got in volume 2. Tim Seeley's doing volume 2 of Money Shot right now.
Wild. I cannot tell you what Money Shot's about, but if you want to read the craziest comic book that someone has ever thought of, it's Money Shot.
Yep. It's porn stars in space. Like that is.
But every time,
that's legitimately the concept. That's it.
There's an important part.
I'm sure there's more to it, but
yeah, there's an important part that's like stops time or reverses time.
Oh yeah, there's a part of that too. Like that one I haven't read yet. I've been curious about it because I'm just like, what is this book?
I read the issue #1 and I was like, why? How? Who came up with this?
Tim Seeley. That's
why did you come up with this?
I mean, look, hey, if it works, it works. Whatever.
You know what? If that's the only way we can save humanity, I think we got a good shot.
There we go. No pun intended. All right. Anyway, before this goes any further,
really trying to get ourselves fired, aren't we?
It's not our fault. We didn't make the comic. Okay. Let's get into
Before we get into anything else, I want to just get in some comments.
Some comments. Let's get into some comments.
Sure.
Annie Fox said earlier that spoilers don't bother her.
You're a better person than me, Annie.
I feel that way about.
If I don't care about it, sure.
I feel that way about books, but not movies for some reason.
Okay.
Like, because
spoilers for books bother you, but movie spoilers don't bother you.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Any particular reason?
I feel like it's kind of inevitable with a movie that someone's going to spoil it. And also, I think it's because I'm a slow reader, so it's gonna be a lot of I'm gonna have to invest a lot of time to read a book.
Okay, right.
And I don't want it ruined. I'm gonna put in all of that work, so zip it, put a sock in it. A movie's gonna take me like 2-3 hours at most.
That's
and
true.
that's
Time
fine.
invested, and I guess that's also a part of it too.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Fat Tony is saying there's actually a new study that says that spoilers don't actually ruin the viewing experience for people. The more you know.
Who are these people? Who the hell are these people? What? Like what is this? What is this sample size? I don't like this at all.
I mean, I kind of felt that way about No Way Home. I always mix up the titles
Well,
of those
yeah,
movies.
no, the internet definitely was like just had weighed in on what was going to happen like months ago.
Yeah, but it didn't make it any less hype when you
It did
finally
not.
saw it.
It did not. I kind of, I don't know. It's actually interesting. I try to avoid spoilers, so I kind of went into the movie with the mindset of they're not actually going to do this.
That was bold.
Like, I mean, I just kind of was like, Twitter's just, yeah, you know. Like, Twitter's just doing what they want to do. But, yeah, like, I kind of, like, got to the point where I was watching, I was sort of like, yeah, they're not gonna actually do that. Like, why would they do that?
Right.
You know? And then I think maybe the week before the movie, I was like, okay, this is actually gonna happen. What else we got, Johnny? Any
John's
more?
Realm from earlier was saying, sorry, I'm running the comic store, so generally busy on Wednesday.
Oh.
We get that, and we'll watch it later. Always great. Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks.
Give us, let us know what comic shop you're working at, so we
Yeah.
can shout out for that.
Unless it's Kahan's Realm.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. It could be Kahan's
It's
Realm.
very possibly.
I
a
tried looking
comic
up
store.
Kahan's Realm, and I might have spelled it wrong, so
Okay.
I was in the middle of the show.
That's all right.
Well, we're thrilled to have you.
Annie Fox saying VHS tapes are auctionable.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
homie.
We were talking about that a few weeks ago. Like, yeah, Hakes is doing VHS tapes now, and I guess anything. I guess all things can be preserved in some way, shape, or form. So it's not that surprising.
I was thinking about that the other week. My brother and I used to have like the collector's edition box set of the remastered original trilogy. And it was like really nice, but also we were too young to be given something that
Right,
nice.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just
right, right.
destroyed that
it.
box. Just wrecked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Tony's
no, I'm in the
saying
same boat.
I guess anything's auctionable if there's a demand for it.
Totally.
Also true.
Let me scroll up here a little bit. Ooh, Mystical Green Beanie's here.
Oh, Lord.
Ruh-roh.
Money shot is exactly what it sounds like.
Thanks for clarifying, by the way.
Yeah, we tried very hard to dance around that.
Did we? I don't know if we did.
I mean, the critical
Ashton
plot
did.
point.
Ashton did.
I'll tell you. Want to know?
What? No, I know what it's about.
I mean, the next comment is Fat Tony explaining it, so
Oh,
All right, perfect.
okay.
Well, I didn't say it
Let's
then.
go.
we know. We've already gone over it.
Oh, wait, can we not show what Fatoni said?
I mean, we can if you want.
I want to know what his explanation
Money
is.
Shot's a great comic and scientists doing porn in space to fund research.
Okay, there you go. All right. I didn't know about the fun research part. Okay,
I did
there
not
you
know
go.
about that part either.
All right, gotcha. And then there's a time rewinding element, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, yeah. So.
And one more, Annie Fox saying she has selective memory when it comes to spoilers. Once I get to the movie, I'm just fully into the experience.
I also have those moments too.
Yeah,
like sometimes I
that's
just
real.
forget stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like legit. So I totally understand.
It's great
that.
to have terrible recall.
Yeah, it's great to have terrible. Also, people are just saying so many things online. After a while, it's just sort of like it
all
just
bleeds
washes
together.
over you.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, and then when the reveal happens, you're like, oh wait, that's right.
I
People
did
did
see
say
that.
this. So,
Where are we in the show?
we are going to talk about Mark Hamill.
That's right.
Yes, we're going to talk about the Mark Hamill situation. I don't know how to frame this up, Johnny. I feel like you have some strong thoughts on this, Johnny.
Me?
Yeah, I feel like you do this Mark Hamill thing. But long story short, we caught wind of this video, and I mean, like, we're not the only ones, of course, the internet in general. Found this video of Mark Hamill coming from where I don't know.
Right.
I think that this was after the dedication to Carrie Fisher on May the 4th.
Oh, that makes it even
for the
tackier.
A Hollywood
she got
Walk of
Hollywood
Fame.
Walk of Fame star.
Oh, that makes it even
I
tackier.
think.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
But the level, you guys can't really hear the audio, but like the level of greed that is being like just thrown at Mark Hamill. Everybody wants him to sign something, and I don't know. It leaves a bad taste. Of course, clearly they're preventing him from leaving the space.
Right.
He's also like doing a tribute to his friend who just passed away. I didn't even know that part until right now.
Again, that's speculative. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is.
Is that okay? Okay. But we had the F-bomb in there. We didn't take that out. Oops. But yeah, it's just a weird aspect of fan culture.
Yeah. And there's someone in here that, like, manages to get something in his hand to sign and then is immediately like, oh no, don't sign it there, sign it lower.
Right.
Like, where do you get the audacity? Right there.
Yeah.
On the bottom. Like, where do you get the audacity? If Mark Hamill wanted to sign something for me, anywhere he wants to put it, I'd be thrilled with.
Yeah, right. Not anywhere, but yes.
On the object I would be handing him.
There you go. No, it's a bizarre, aspect of fan culture for sure. Like I've never been a big autograph. Are you a big autograph person? I'm not a big autograph person. I don't. I think maybe once I went to a WWE thing and I got The Rock to sign a thing. I don't even know where that thing is anymore.
That's dope. I have a little Ravens helmet signed by Todd Heap. That was pretty cool.
But I don't even know where that signature is anymore, to be honest. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I lost it a long time ago. Like, it's, yeah, but I think Johnny was the one who pointed out, like, the likelihood of these being resellers is very high as well.
Very high.
Like, these aren't even people that necessarily are huge Star Wars fans necessarily. They're just here to flip it on eBay or whatever. And, like, we've actually gotten some proof of that, haven't we, John?
I mean, actually, if you scroll down underneath this post from Twitter, right here, you can see screenshots. Signed Star Wars box, like, rare. This is the person saying, sign on the bottom or whatever. Not on the bottom. But
That makes me really sad.
look at this. This is just disappointing.
It is.
I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan. Well, I used to be a Star Wars fan, but let me just backtrack. So I've gone to Star Wars conventions in the past. I've gone to like Star Wars Celebration in Florida, Anaheim, different places, and I've stood in line to get autographs from Carrie Fisher, from Mark Hamill, from Peter Mayhew, David Prowse, Kenny Baker, a bunch of actors who are actually, some of which are no longer with us, and I appreciate that because I was actually there and I had that face time with these actors. But with Mark Hamill, it's not like he never does autograph sessions.
Right.
He's always been a very generous person in terms of spending time with his fans and giving them attention and
legit.
autographing things for them. So the fact that people need to like struggle and fight over this, for one thing, is kind of surprising to me.
Well, it tells you that they're not really fans. Like, I feel like even if you hadn't seen the screenshots or whatever, like, it tells you that they're not a fan, like they're working an angle, because like you said, Johnny, real fans know that that's not that hard to come by. He does do a lot of conventions and a lot of shows. And the other thing I would like to believe is like actual fans wouldn't be that disrespectful of their hero.
You would hope not. Like, it's definitely a speculator thing, and I mean, I don't even think you can really get a sense of how gross it is until you hear the audio.
The audio is so disheartening.
It is disheartening. It's a little bit like, oh God, this is where we're at. And I mean that's always been an aspect of it, for sure. But it's just sort of like the veracity of it is just sort of like, it doesn't feel good. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's icky.
And like I'm very curious if this was indeed for the Hollywood Walk of Fame for Carrie Fisher, because that does make it even worse, actually. So
we were talking before the show and saying how comparing this, Mark Hamill's easy to get an autograph from compared to Harrison Ford,
Right.
where I could possibly understand, not really condone, but understand why people are being that voracious about trying to get a Harrison Ford autograph. Cross-reference that with Harrison Ford's viewpoint on Star Wars.
Right.
It's kind of dumb.
Right.
Right.
I see videos like this, and I'm kind of starting to understand why.
Right. I mean, I guarantee you, he had an encounter, a couple encounters like this, and he was like, "I'm done."
Yo, I'm sure.
Never again.
I'm sure.
Because he's been pretty adamant about like, I'm just not with this. So it's just a very bizarre aspect of all this for sure.
I saw someone actually posted a video comparing it to Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and they said that what Dave Grohl does is he won't sign anything anymore unless it's for charity. Because there's a bunch of people like lining up for him outside of a show or out at a restaurant or whatever, and he's actually like just stops and like says, "Look," he explains it to them like right to their face, like, "I will not sign anything unless it's for charity."
Oh,
and
you know what?
Furthermore. And he just like runs and tail. Like,
I remember this. I just remember that video of him doing that. Like, I actually totally remember that. And people were giving him crap for that. Like, they were like, "How dare you not?" That's what it is. You know what? This is what it is. I was trying to pinpoint what it is. It's the entitlement.
Yep.
This is like, we hear a lot of conversation about fan entitlement. That's fan entitlement.
Yes.
We can argue about whether or not they are actually fans or not, but this is an aspect of the culture, of fan culture. That's entitlement.
Yeah.
And like what you described with the Dave Grohl thing is a perfect example of just like why I'm okay if you don't sign the stuff. Like, to be honest, like, Stan Lee did a lot of signing. Probably way more than he should have. And like, I know that there's a conversation about the people around him pushing him to go to conventions to sign stuff.
Right.
When he was way past the point of he should have been past the point of doing that.
Well, that was a whole thing with Stan Lee.
That was a whole thing with Stan Lee.
He was being abused by his
caretakers,
handlers,
basically, right? His
yeah.
handlers or caretakers, whatever you want to call them. And like, I find that there's an aspect of that that's sort of like also kind of springboards from this, and it's like, okay, there's a demand for this thing, right? And all right, that's fine, but you don't always have to meet the demand. Like,
No,
like,
and that's how you keep it in demand.
and just like with this Mark Hamill thing, actually, I had a moment where I had a little flash of the Princess Diana situation too, where like, it makes me go, all right, you guys are preventing this guy from leaving, right? Like, you are blocking his car. Like, this could have gone any number of ways if this was a more callous person behind that wheel.
That's true.
Like, you know what I
That's
mean?
a great point.
Or it could have gotten, or it could something could have had to Mark Hamill or something. You know what I mean? So it's just like all of it's just sort of like, it's too much, guys, too much.
We do have people commenting on this. First of all, Cover Price Comics is saying, "What's up, preview gang?"
What's up?
In the chat. So
What's up? What's
Welcome
up?
back.
But also continuing with, I support the backlash of celebrities against the reseller.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
Like
like
Mark
that.
Hamill's actually like called people out on like reselling stuff or Twitter, just like that's not actually my autograph. So
Oh, wow.
I do love Mark Hamill. He stays on social media just putting people and things on blast.
He does. That's true. Mark Hamill, that whole, I have watched this multiple times. The Mark Hamill supercuts of him talking about The Last Jedi are some of my absolute favorite. I've watched that so many times. And I'm like, it's so classy, but it's also so disrespectful. The way he
Politely rude.
Politely rude, right? It's hilarious. You've never got a chance to, just watch Mark Hamill talk crap about The Last Jedi while Ryan Johnson is sitting like less than a foot away from it. It just cracks me up every single time. Anyway.
Annie Fox is saying she got to talk to Ming-Na Wen while her friend got the autograph.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, sweet.
Okay.
And that she would rather talk to
Them.
Okay.
All right, great.
Cover Price Comics. There is a number of celebrities taking this position.
Oh, against resellers, I'm imagining, yeah.
I believe that.
Fat Tony, if a celebrity is willing to sign something in the real world, that's great, but there is no expectation that they should. That was an absolutely pathetic display of greed.
Yeah.
100%.
100% agree, 100% on that. Mystical Green Beanie's back again.
Uh-oh.
Always corner your heroes in the bathroom. You'll be walking away with something to remember by the interaction by one way or another.
I mean, yes, right.
That
exactly.
is a choice you can make.
That's a choice you can make. That reminds me, wasn't there just that Stan, the Eminem song was about that, actually. It was actually kind of
Yeah.
hilarious.
And Fantastic Four saying, "Don't get me started on Grohl. Fire just came to my eyes."
Oh,
Whoa.
are we mad at him?
Are we mad at him? What's that about?
Are we mad at him or for him?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Follow up in the comments.
Interesting. All right.
Elaborate, please.
Elaborate, please. All right, we got a trailer this week, right? Let's dive on into Gargoyles from Dynamite Comics, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about it, and then the return of Social Swamp. Let's go. And that was a trailer for the Gargoyles trade paperback, which is actually going to be hitting comic shops in July. That is actually going to be heralded by Gargoyles: The Dark Ages, which is available to pre-order now in the Mega Previews catalog, and of course the current Dynamite series Gargoyles.
There you go.
Jeez, is available right now at your local comic shop from the creator of the series. Actually, I had no idea how popular Gargoyles was.
I didn't realize there was this demand
There was
for
this
it.
rabid fan base, but this book has been hugely popular.
Yeah.
And and for me personally, it was one of those things. It just kind of Gargoyles happened right at the point where I was like, okay, I'm not watching cartoons anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like late teenager. Like I was just kind of like moving on, you know. But like people love it, and like I've heard nothing but great things about it. So if you haven't caught hold of this, be sure to check it out at your local comic shop right now, and be sure to pre-order the trade paperback, which will be in shops in July. All right. You ready for some Social Swamp?
Yes.
It's been a long time since we did a Social Swamp.
It's been a minute.
It has. Let's dive in and see what's going on in the Social Swamp.
Of this week's nonsense poll, we wanted to do Social Swamp so we could get a chance to look at how you guys celebrated Free Comic Book Day, and specifically what books you guys picked up. So over on the Free Comic Book Day Facebook, I asked you guys to show us your Free Comic Book Day hauls. So let's look at what you guys got.
So, Ashton, I know that some of this may be hard for you to read, so
Uh-huh.
I'm probably going to go through this and help. Mike Ashley just showing nothing.
Oh.
That's probably the saddest post that we've
Look at the little sad face emoji.
Sorry about that.
It's just an empty carpet. Is that what that was?
Yeah.
I guess he couldn't make it, or like maybe there was no participating shop.
I shouldn't laugh at your misfortune. I'm sorry, Mike.
Let's see, Andrew Elder showing a picture of the shop they were at.
Nice.
Sweet.
I like this. Sarah Bayless, as well as some of the kids' haul. Conan for the husband. We also got some cool free drawings.
Nice.
Ooh.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, look at that baby Yoda.
Oh, cute. Let's see what else we got here. Cashman's Comics. We've given a shout out to them before.
Sweet. Oh, man.
Brian Pereira.
Okay.
I'm not sure who that artist is, but it looks like they specialize in like doing some like the '90s style
Yeah.
X-Men art.
Yeah.
See, this is what I love seeing, like getting families into it.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at that little kid in the car seat. He is about it. He's got
Right.
that Animal Crossing book, it looks like.
Let's see here. Ooh, here's a good
Damn.
haul.
That's a haul.
Kristen De La Rosa.
They got one of everything. Oh man, I forgot the I Am Stan book was out this week.
Yeah.
I am very curious about that. I do want to read that. Speaking of Stan Lee.
Let's see,
Oh, I should have gotten The Nightmare before Christmas.
Animal Castle's nice.
Joseph. There's some other ones here. Went to all the
Ooh.
local shops I could to make sure I didn't miss out on too much. Still a sizable haul there.
That's a pretty good haul.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a haul.
That's another one.
That's
Damn.
that's
But
a
this is what I
beyond
like
haul.
seeing, like amongst all the Free Comic Book Day titles, you see stuff that they actually picked
Purchased,
up from
yeah.
the comic shop. This is from Carolyn John's Comic Shop, who we've given shout outs to.
Oh yeah, we
before.
did.
Sweet.
I love the backdrop. I like the shoes.
Nice.
Johnny.
Those are like the Miles Morales shoes. That's pretty good.
Smurfs. I picked this one up, and I actually did the augmented reality. With
Oh, yeah, how
Oh,
was
how
that?
was it?
It's actually really cool.
Okay, cool.
Best books from Free Comic Book Day 2023. I got more, but these are my favorites. Next,
Hmm.
the Nightmare Before Christmas, the DC title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Smurfs title.
Oogie Boogie is a cutie.
Another one, Bruce Wayne, Not Super. See, that's why I like seeing like these little titles like sprinkled in there. We got some
Yeah.
Yeah.
a Funko Pop Groot there.
Damn.
A bunch laid out there. Some of these are from previous Free Comic
Yeah.
Book
Yeah, I'm
days, too.
noticing that too.
I know sometimes stores will just restock with the last year's stuff too.
So if you didn't get any of the titles this year, you could be able to pick them up next year.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 comic book shops, catching up on Saga volumes I've missed, my husband got Creep Show issues he wanted,
Ooh.
plus a Mike Mignola we didn't have yet, and a few other goodies, as well as free comics.
Nice.
Saga, yeah. The Sword
That's a
of
haul.
Hyperborea. All before, let's see. Someone actually got their hands on the Spider-Man 2 video game.
Oh, yeah. Do
That's,
we want to talk about that at all? No.
Yeah. You can,
Nah.
look it up.
Johnny's like, no.
You can look it up if you want to like find information.
Yeah.
about it, but I don't think we need to like.
Not our fault. Just saying that. Just throw that out
YouTube
there.
Comics.
It's true.
Someone picked up a Spider-Man Noir and Immortal Hulk books.
What's that Hulk book? Hold on, what's going on
I
there?
got some of my favorite sexy badass women like Red Sonja and Wonder Woman, anime, funny cartoon, and another sexy badass woman. Is that a book?
Oh,
His only prerequisite is make it sexy and badass.
make it sexy.
I did pick up the Batman book there in the top
mystery
right
case
because
book?
I do love Christopher Aminga's artwork
Oh, okay.
because he kind of has like a similar style
Scotty
like Scotty
Young,
Young.
yeah.
Yeah.
We profiled you, Johnny.
The library participated. Yeah, shout out to all of the libraries that
Yeah.
also participated.
That's
Not just the
true.
mom and pop local comic shops, but there are a lot of libraries that took part too. People reading the Star Wars High Republic.
Nice.
Jeff Pierce.
Also
Love to see it.
Avatar.
Dogman. My son's all about that. He's enjoying that.
Mm.
Tom Kelly from Unknown Shop, but it looks like there's a big crowd there.
Yeah. A lot of people celebrating.
Sandor, Sebastian Scroggins, all nicely put up there on a bookshelf there. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
see. Umbrella Academy. Someone picked up the Gargoyles ones right there.
Okay, all right. I had a hard time with that one because of the blanket.
That's
Oh
Gargoyles.
yeah. It kind of blends in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Underneath the Gargoyles to the right, I can see they picked up Batman, one of the White Knight story arcs.
Oh yeah. Nice.
And we're Pumpkin King.
And
And more Pumpkin King.
let's see, missed out. Really wanted the RuneScape one. I Am Stan is great.
Good. I can't wait for the full release of that. I want to read
Yeah.
that book for sure.
In-store signing Burleston, Texas.
Ooh.
Fred Keel. Let's see. Someone else picked up the Spider-Man comic. That's a good one. That one comic book store in Michael had leftovers from previous years, so I was able to get some that I had missed. There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool.
There you go. Oh yeah, that Doctor Who book. I think that was 2 years ago.
And here's one from the OneRhino.com. Hashtag Epic Memories.
Oh, yeah, that is a core memory for those
It
children.
is absolutely.
And that's one of the things I like about Free Comic Book Day. Is also
Yeah.
like, it's not just a family thing, but like it gets the young kids out there interested in reading in
Right.
general.
Well, I mean, and it normalizes comic books. You know,
Yes.
like I feel like free comic. I think this kind of gets lost in the conversation sometimes that people have when they talk about Free Comic Book Day. Is like, there's a lot of things competing for
Yeah.
for kids' attention now,
Yeah.
right? There's way more than when I was a kid, right? And so, this notion of it's easy for a comic book to be kind of like to fall down the list of things that kids can engage with. And so like it's really cool to kind of like have an event where kids can go and discover comics for the first time.
Absolutely.
And just like kind of see if they run with it beyond that. Because I know I was definitely in that category. Once I discovered one, I was like, oh, I love this.
It's great, yeah.
So absolutely.
And I know we like to keep the focus on local comic book shops, but that's kind of the beauty of libraries participating as
Too,
well,
yeah.
because a lot of the libraries that participate are in communities where there isn't a comic shop close
Absolutely,
by.
yeah.
So it gives them that accessibility without maybe being able to get into a comic shop.
No, absolutely. Actually, the event I went to on Saturday was a co-partnership between an artist community space in Greenbelt and the local library.
Oh, that's
and so they did
awesome.
the same thing. It was kind of like they unified to make this event possible for people, which was also really nice. So, are we good? Are we
Done
done?
a few more. We got.
Yeah.
Are we done?
No, almost.
I just pulled it off the screen, so I
Books
wasn't
plus
sure.
over $61 comic books. Nice haul at Heroes.
Oh
Comic
gosh.
Book. And that's another thing we talked about during the stream was that a lot of comic shops are having like awesome sales on Free Comic Book Day. Like you can find stuff for like marked down like 50% off. I mean, if you want to get a graphic novel or a trade paperback and not sure if you like it, like that's a good day to like try them out.
Yeah, really.
Mauro Gonzalez went to Comic Castle. It looks like there.
That Animal Crossing book was really popular.
I love that logo.
It really
actually.
was. Yep. Derek Lewis, another huge haul.
Oh wow.
I love the pictures where they have everything like so nicely, evenly laid out.
Right.
Right? It scratches your brain in a really pleasing way.
This is what I love. I saw this picture first time,
Oh,
so that's what it's all about. So, kudos to everyone who went to Free Comic Book Day, and thank you everyone. for
first
participating.
timer.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, now that we know this May 4th next year, something else to look forward to, mark it on your calendar now. Of course, we will remind you every single week,
Endlessly.
endlessly, previous or weekly, and of course, follow Free Comic Book Day online, by all means. Let's jump into the comic shop shout out.
Okay.
Who is the comic shop shout out this week?
This week's comic shop shout out goes to Zap Comics
Love that name.
in Manlapan, New Jersey. Comes from Katie Carney, and we'll show you some images inside of Zap Comics at the end of the show during the credits roll. You can check out their shop. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name or use the hashtag support your LCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
Some love. This is your reminder to follow, and subscribe Previews World. You can hang out with me over there, and I show you all the stuff that's available pre-order, stuff that's hitting new comic shops that week, and also some nice little throwbacks. Some stuff from the 80s, 70s, 90s, things that you remembered from from your days of first discovering comics, right? If you go to Previews World, you can also hang out with Ashton at...
That was exceptionally rude. At Free Comic Book Day, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now that Free Comic Book Day is over, we're in the off season, which I do also enjoy simply because the social media feeds just turn into general nerd yelling and what's your opinion on this? And everyone gets real angry in the comments. It's great. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you head over to Previews World today, you will discover an interview for a book called Sons of Ashgard, which is available now from Dark Horse Comics. This actually dropped today in comic shops. And this is a fur-filled tale, a fateful fur-filled tale of fantasy from Chad Corey. I got a chance to talk to the artist, and so this is a Get Graphic interview with Matt Wendt, and he kind of gives us a rundown and a look inside his creative process. Just a really cool example, especially for people who are getting new to comics this week, This is how comic books are made. So if you're discovering comics for the first time, here's an invite into the process of making comic books. And it's a very elaborate process. It requires dedication and time. And Matt Wendt is a phenomenal artist and is proof of both of these things. So definitely check that out. That's on our website right now, previewsworld.com. Also, Hiya Toys dropped a couple of badass action figures this week.
They've done some Judge Dreads before, and they're always phenomenal.
Yeah, they always do really cool, really nicely detailed figures. And I said they dropped them this week. Technically, not even technically, more accurately, they're available to pre-order now and will be dropping in February of 2024.
Oh my God.
So a ways off, but if you are an 80s kid like me, that John Rambo's phenomenal.
That's a lot of accessories for either of them.
A lot of accessories. Also, that Judge Dredd is also phenomenal. They've done a couple of Judge Dredds in the past. They did it was a Judge Death that was actually amazing looking. Hiya Toys does not cut any corners when it comes to the articulation and the detail in their figures. So check that out. That is a Previews World exclusive. You can pre-order at your local comic shop now. You're going to have to wait a while because it's not dropping until early next year, but you probably want to get on the ground floor now, so definitely check that out.
Both played by Sylvester Stallone.
Both, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? You're absolutely right. Both played by Sylvester Stallone. There you go. That is absolutely true. I completely forgot about that. And that's something I wouldn't remember.
Incredible.
Well, we're trying to forget that Judge Dredd movie was Stallone. Focus more on the Carl Urban movie.
I don't mind the original one. I don't mind it that much. I think it's okay.
Okay.
It's largely okay. It's a little silly.
I've never seen it, actually. So, it sounds great. I'm sure we love it.
It's fine. It's good. It's okay.
It's fun.
It's got Rob Schneider in it. You love Rob Schneider.
I do. All right, cool.
Anyway.
Ashton, real quick before we go, we didn't go over what you picked up from Free
what'd you get from
that's true. So I did get the Cursed Library from Archie Comics. That was the main of the Free Comic Day books I wanted to get. I also picked up Seismic Stories. I did finally get my hands on the Archie Comics, the Archie Horror Picks, The Cult of That Woken Boy, and Pop's Chocolate Shop that I picked the last couple weeks. I was desperate to get them. I literally made one of the staff members at Cards, Comics, and Collectibles chase down The Cult of That Woken Boy for me. I desperately was I'm not leaving this comic shop without this book.
Nothing wrong with it.
And then at Collector's Corner, Johnny, with the sweet find, found Heir to the Empire for me.
Oh, okay, nice.
I know.
Wait, the
yeah.
Right, no, but I'm saying with the Dark Horse adaptation, the novel.
No, the original novel. Star Wars
Legends. But it's the original novel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a first
Nice. That is one of 2 Star Wars books I've ever read.
I have not read that one, so I'm very excited about it.
So, yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Awesome. I expect a full review. Actually, just in time for the invitation of Thrawn into the TV shows, I guess. So, and the movies, I guess. I guess it's going to extend into the movie universe as well.
I would love to finish the book by then. I think the Ahsoka series comes out at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know that will happen. I'm not feeling optimistic, especially because of my reading pace.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think I've said this before. You guys are going to stop shaming people who read not that fast. I don't trust speed readers, by the way.
I read a lot.
I read a lot.
But I don't read very quickly. But I do read all the time.
Right. Not a speed reader, but I do read a lot, but I don't read quickly.
Yeah,
I'm
likewise.
with you on that one. Like, I kind of like stop and pause and go like, oh, that's interesting. Let me go look that up. I'm one of those.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
What
one of
does
those
this
people.
word mean?
What does this word mean? What is that thing? You're like, oh, is that a reference to blah, blah, blah? I do that all the time.
20-minute Wikipedia odyssey.
Exactly. Like, yeah, that's okay. We're the HDHD generation, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
And I do want to actually give a shout out to what I picked up. So
Yeah.
over at Cards, Comics, Collectibles, I picked up Jeff Smith's Bone, which I have not read since I was much younger. I have a lot of the individual issues, but I'm like, I want to pick this up because I really enjoy reading that. So I picked that up. And I also picked up something that I've had on my mind since the 90s, but I've never actually gotten. But it was Evan Dorkin's Milk and Cheese.
Oh, those are hilarious.
Yeah. So I started reading this, and it's one of those like counterculture comics that's like always been in the back of my mind since like the mid 90s or so. And I've never gotten until now, so I'm excited to like get through the rest of this.
Those are absolutely absurd and totally hilarious.
Yeah, so far it kind of reminds me of Johnny the Hamill Cynomaniac.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense. Actually, Johnny, funny enough, recommended Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and that makes sense that, like, yeah, you would see that. That's actually a perfect read for somebody who loves GHTM, so absolutely.
Cover Price Comics is chiming in saying, you guys may have already covered this, but today is the anniversary of the legendary Frank Frazetta passing away.
Oh, okay. I actually did not cover that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Actually, one of the John Attack from Opus is one of the Free Comic Book Day books, right, this year?
They did a Frazetta-verse.
Yeah, the Frazetta-verse book, that's right, yeah. So I didn't realize that was this was the week of his passing. Thanks for pointing that out.
Probably worth mentioning, too, that Opus is publishing a lot of Frank Frazetta.
A lot of Frazetta stuff.
Properties, a lot.
There's Dawn Attack, which was one, and then
Death Dealer.
They got Death Dealer. There's another one that I'm not thinking of right now. But yeah, they're doing they got a whole line of Frazetta stuff that they've been doing with the estate, and they all look really cool. They also have really great art too, which they better if they're Frank Frazetta books.
Gotta deliver.
That is it for Previews World Weekly.
Oh man. My intrusive thought almost won to do Porky Pig.
That's all, folks.
Yeah. It was a close call.
It was a close call. You know what? I would appreciate it regardless. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us. As usual, I'm your host, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
We're a hot mess, but we will always see you here at the Spinner Rack. Catch you later.
Be sure to pick up a copy of this month's previews catalog to see all the amazing pop culture goodies that you can pre-order at your friendly local comic shop.
We all love comics, but do you also love toys and collectibles? Well, I've got you covered on my weekly show, DST Unboxed, where I show you some amazing items and even some exclusives that are on their way to your local comic shop. Check it out at youtube.com/collectdst.